just reaching for a piece of you.
Hi guys, welcome to Killer Drums TV. I am Tony Moore and this is Jackie Barnes. And this is a segment we like to call Gear, Gear, Gear. And today we are doing a retro romance. This is one of my kits actually, and I thought I'd bring it in and let Jackie have a look at it and ask some questions about this kit.
Yeah.
So Jackie, what have I got?
Well, it's mine now.
It's yours.
Mine.
Another one stolen.
I was just saying that this is a very kind of like old drums that are well made, vintage drums, you know, there's kind of a romance about them. They're kind of very, yeah, they're just, they're so good.
What are some of your favourite old drums?
Rogers.
Yeah.
Love old Rogers drums, Camco.
Camco, yeah, I know.
George Way.
Camco. Yeah.
They're kind of my go-tos. Some of the old Gretches are lovely.
Yeah.
Old round badges. I mean, yeah, there's just something about them that is just, you know,
just beautiful.
Yeah, but I don't have a lot of experience with Australian vintage drums, so that's what we're looking at here. Obviously, I've heard of the Dandy brand, and I know its connection with Drouyn and Drouyn.
Yeah.
And obviously, that's a brand that you have a lot to do with and a lot of history with, and you have a lot of them.
I have a lot of them.
And you know, so yeah, tell me a bit about this kit. What is it?
Yeah, right. So this one's actually a 1958. Mm-hmm. Now this is the Dandy, as the badge says.
Yep.
It's a pretty special kit because there aren't too many that are 58 that are in existence. Mm-hmm. But I thought I'd bring this one in because I've rewrapped it and put new hoops on it.
Yep.
Some of these drums are pretty old and get beaten up.
Beaten up and thrown around.
Yeah.
Yep.
So when I get them, this was just 3 drums: the bass drum, the snare drum, and the rack tom.
Yep.
Now they're all hewn pine.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so 2 mil. Thing that Drouyn did differently was a couple of things. They made, they had thick pieces of timber, that about 2 mil thick, and they actually horizontally glued them together.
Yeah, okay.
And made almost like not quite a steam vent, but it's basically a 3-ply shell.
Yeah, cool.
So super light, super thin. They did a round over edge on the outside.
Like a baseball bat.
Like a baseball bat, with a little bit of a tuck on the inside.
On both reso and batter?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. You got internal dampeners, much like our Gretsch.
I can see them. They look cool.
Yeah, the bass drum ones are sweet as. They're just a little, very, very simple. There's a guy called George Meacham actually designed all of this stuff. And I used to meet with George back in the day, and we used to talk about why he did certain things on these drums.
Yep.
They're an interesting size. That floor tom is probably one of the deepest floor toms.
16 by 18,
yeah, 16 by 18 deep. Super 18 deep. You'll also notice if you count the lugs on top, there's 9 lugs.
Wow.
Yeah, so a 9 lugs 16-inch hoop's pretty rare, and people often wonder why did they do that. Well, I asked George, why did you do that? He said it was really simple. We were looking for ways to save money. Yeah. So what we did is we used the same flesh hoops for the 14. 8 lug has the same spacing distance as a 16-9.
Gotcha. Okay.
And that's why they actually did it, just to save running
cost.
extra material.
And we've spoken about cost savings in other brands like Gretsch going to the 5 lug design to save a bit of money for jazz drummers of the day. So there's a lot of, I can see a lot of what appears to be solid brass fittings. Yeah,
so there's a bit of a mix and match. So all the little finishes, this has been retrofitted. So hoops are new, claws are new, and the tension rods I've converted away from the brass ones. In the old days, it was all brass. Brass hoops, brass rods, brass claws. The lugs are cast. Beautiful cast. I love the shape of those lugs.
Yeah, they're a beautiful lug. And,
just so stylish.
Are these the original T-rods?
Original T-rods,
cool.
Original claws.
Really cool.
Original hoops on the bass drum as well.
Yep. Oh, really? Yeah.
Yep. Now, the floor tom is actually Victorian ash.
Okay.
So
and where did you find this shell?
Well, that's the thing. They're really hard to find. So when I finally came up with an extra one, I decided I'd make a kit.
Yep.
And that's why I chose antique white. Wanted to modernize it a bit.
Yeah. If you look in my collection of drums, like 70% of my kits are white kits. There's just something about, there's a classiness about them. They're they're timeless.
Yeah.
They're elegant. There's just a vibe about them
and they got a lot of character. And with this kit, what I wanted to do, it's actually a 12 by 7.5 inch deep tom.
Yep.
I actually asked George, why 7.5 inch? It's an odd size in our modern language because we'd have 12 by 8 or whatever it was. He said it was to do with the volume of the drum being laid into the 14 that they had and then the 16 by 18. So he was working on volumes back in the day, which got me set on it back in the 80s when I used to do this stuff. So this kind of kit, we've got Evans heads.
Yeah, you've got the 56 calf tones, which I know very well. Kind of like a modern
calfy kind of
vibe.
And you can hear it, when you play it.
So these would have originally come with calf heads.
Actual with calf heads, yeah.
All right, let's hear them. Do we want snares off?
Yeah.
We've got a little bit of a buzz in this tom, but that's vintage. That's vintage. There's something about a snare with wood hoops. Yeah. It's just got this openness and this beautiful tone to it. It's that's lovely. That's a great sounding tom.
So the little buzz you can hear, it's actually back in these lugs, they started making these lugs back in the 1930s. Mm-hmm. So the technology is pretty old. So inside it's like a hollow, it's solid, and they used to hollow out a little piece by putting a piece of wood or something in when they cast it, and it's just got a little brass nut. Yeah. Now that brass nut can vibrate.
But it actually kind of has a bit of a, it's almost like a little bit of snare wire or something. It's got a little
twang. If I knew that was there, I wouldn't have brought it in quite like that. But
I like it like that, and it sounds great. Then let's hear this deep guy.
Now, interesting thing, Jackie. Have you heard of a song called Bombora?
No.
Bombora is this surfy song, and the whole of the song is played on a 16-inch floor tom made by guess which company?
Drouyn.
Yeah. So there's actually
18 deep or
60, exactly that drum, but with die-cast hoops, and it's actually
an ash drum as well.
An ash drum, and it sits in that color, except more yellow, and it sits in the Australian Library.
Cool.
So they've actually got it archived, and you can actually go and listen to the recording. We'll put a link on it because it's very interesting history.
Yeah.
And incidentally, Drouyn drums, for those people watching overseas, they made the world's most expensive drum set until Ringo Starr stole the show. And
they made it for the Queen or something.
The Queen,
like that?
yep. So a series of marching snare drums for the Royal Australian Navy, and marching bass drums, all out of solid sterling silver. All the lug castings, all the claws, the hoops, even the badges were made by Wallace Bishop, solid sterling silver. The tension rods.
Where's that kit? Is that in a museum or?
It is in a museum. So if you're in Sydney, when it's not locked up, you can go out to an island in the middle of Sydney, which is called the Rand Museum, R-A-N Museum.
Okay.
And they're in a big glass cabinet because every time they take them out of the cabinet, they got to clean them, and it costs $85,000 to clean them.
Wow.
So they keep them in this cabinet. But make sure if you're in Sydney that you go to the Rand Museum and check them out. They are a piece of craftsmanship like no other. They've even got drumsticks that have got sterling silver on the ends. Oh, beautiful. But anyway, Bombora was played on that.
The floor tom, we got the 22 by 14.
2214, yeah.
This is a beautiful sounding bass drum. I was playing it before. At the moment, we don't have any. Do we have any muffling on it? Not really.
Nope.
No. I'm just going to loosen that muffling off.
Yeah, she's all love there.
And what was the tom like on these? Was it any good? Or?
It is actually. So
it's just like an L arm kind of.
Yeah, it's an L arm, and it's called a bell. It's actually brass. It's solid brass. Those mounts.
Yep.
And people might look at it. Anyone who's probably 60 and above look at it and go, gee, it looks a lot like the Australian brass taps that we used to get with the little lever on them. It's because that's exactly how it was made. So George got a brass tap, and he actually cast that, and then that's how he made them all. But they're solid brass as well.
I actually really like these little kind of, they look like
thumb screws,
like golf clubs, little like they're actually really cool.
It's all brass. I mean, the thing we often talk about A and F and how, and I was when we were doing the A and F one, I was saying, and I was congratulating Rami and the team because it's all done in house.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about. That's why I fell in love with the Drouyn brand way back in the '80s because everything was in house.
Yep.
And I
it's
just
all
loved
it's all
it.
hands on. It's that hands on.
They even made the heads.
Craftsmanship. Yeah.
They'd lap the heads.
They'd lap the heads and
everything.
Cool.
So anyway, this is one of my favorite little kits. So I wanted to bring it in and show you so you could play your first dandy drum set live to our million viewers. All right, how about we have a listen?
Let's do it. And
Take
of course
it for a fly.
we've got the UFIP.
Oh yeah,
Naturals.
we were using our UFIPs again.
Natural series.
Yep.
They're
15.
Some of my favorite cymbals that I own.
Yep.
15-inch light hats.
Lights.
19-inch natural crash.
Yep.
21-inch crash ride.
Beautiful.
20-inch crash. These are phenomenal cymbals.
Nice.
Yep. And they go really nicely with all of these kind of vintage and retro kits that we've been using. They sit really well in the mix, and they're just a joy to play. So
yeah. So we got a bit of Italian and Australian happening. And where are you from, Jackie?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Thailand,
I'm kind of German.
Thailand, Scotland, Australia.
We're multicultural here.
Yeah.
Killer Drums TV. Jackie Barnes, everyone. Let's hear this beautiful kit.
Yeah.
Oh mate, that was such a cool thing to experience, mate. I appreciate you playing them. I loved how you just hung on the floor, Tom.
Well, once I went there, it had such a deep sound that I just wanted to hang there for a while.
It was,
which is probably why in that song,
Bombora,
they hung on the tom because
it is. It's like a surfy song.
It's got a vibe,
like that kind of thing. Yeah.
It's just it's fun to play.
It's great.
This would be cool as a bass drum too.
It would. And the bass drum's like just boom, just starting in there.
I want to hear it with this muffler on a bit. Let's see that. Let's get that on there too. Oh
yeah,
just controls it a little.
Play a groove with that in it.
Let's get. Is this a muffler?
Yeah, the muffler's on everything.
Functions.
We muffle everything. Yeah. Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. I love the wood hoops, actually. The wood hoops really kind of lift the tone up.
Yeah, and they have a certain resonance, wood hoop drums.
Yeah.
Obviously, you have to kind of alter the way you attack the drums a little, but it makes you play differently as well.
Yeah, I love it.
Now I want a dandy.
You want a dandy?
And I know the right guy to ask for one.
Yeah, there's a few. We'll make sure we get Jackie a dandy kit out on some gig somewhere, and we'll come out and film him playing it. That'll be a bit of fun.
Yeah, but it's just amazing that there's such a rich history of drum making in Australia.
In Australia, yeah.
And it's just wonderful that you've kept specimens like this for guys like me to check out who haven't had a long history with playing them. I've heard of them, obviously. I've seen photos of them and heard stories about them, but never owned one or played one. So this is really a special moment for me because you know how I feel about collecting drums and my collection of drums, and it's amazing that these were made an hour and a half away from here.
Exactly. Yeah.
60 something years ago. So that's incredible. So it really is amazing that these are still here, and they play really well. This bass drum actually didn't move around. I thought it would with just the little straight spikes.
Yep.
And same as the A&F with those little raw brass spikes on their
Yep.
drums. I thought when I first got one of them that they'd move, but that stayed still.
Yeah, it's funny how over the years we've bulked up everything, but actually if you go back, some of this stuff actually just still it still works today.
Well, I use a lot of lightweight hardware now,
Yeah.
Lightweight stuff, and it withstands the abuse that I give them.
Yeah. Well, mate, I really appreciate you playing this. It's lovely to share this stuff. I've got another kit I'm going to bring in a little bit later that I've sent down to Kentville, down to Steel at Kentville.
Cool.
Yep.
So it must be then pre-international sizing then?
Yeah, it's a bit of an oddie. It's an odd one. But this particular, it's another dandy.
Yep.
It's a bit earlier than this one. It's in original finish. Everything is original. And it's a dance band kit.
Oh, cool.
So I'm putting some
rear
well,
heads
actually,
on it.
I'm not putting anything on it. Steel is going to put some kangaroo heads on it.
And Still does amazing work. I've got his heads on a few of my kits, and we sell them in the shop. Steel's a wonderful guy. He's one of the only guys I trust to touch my vintage kits and fix up drums, and he's just his attention to detail on all that stuff is amazing. We should get one of your other kits and put some of his heads on it. And
I thought we'd do that. Hey, so we're going to do that when we fell into a retro moment. We're going to keep it rolling. So
that'll be coming up as well. We'll do a feature on Kentville heads, the kangaroo heads, and
on a couple of kits, and we might even maybe you could bring in one of your Gretsch or something. Yeah. And we'll do a modern and do some comparison-y stuff.
Absolutely.
Love it. Guys, Jackie Barnes. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Dandy Drums. I'm Tony Moore, and this is Killer Drums. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you on the next one.
Cool. And see you guys.
Just tackle.